welcome back, everybody. Last night we got this live edge fast bench, quick and dirty lathe bench up. Got some legs on it. Tonight I want to get a tool holder made, mounted onto the wall. That's why we did plywood here. Where it's not going to be seen so much, I just did a bunch of plywood scraps I had kicking around. They actually came from, they were industrial shelving, the shelves from it, and I don't have any of the framework, so it's kind of pointless to keep them as that. But anyway, so we put that where it's not going to be seen so much, but up here we're going to try to make some halfway decent looking tool holders. They're not going to be anything that's fancy. They're just going to be screwed into the walls. Will be one of those things. So anyway, stay tuned. I'll catch you on the other side of it. So a couple of bad habits that I have, and you guys who watched for a long time already know I have these. I will tend to make something and try to cram as much crap into it that I don't need as I can, and it's kind of goofy. Quit that. Really serves no purpose to work like that. So that's 36. Let me turn that down to 34. Get past this check right here. How about 32? So all we're doing, we're going to make a quick and dirty and hopefully halfway decent looking tool holder. I'm not overly picky on fanciness right now. I'm usually not anyway. So basically, and easy enough. So all we're going to do, we're going to get some holes in here. Now I don't have a ton of lathe tools to begin with. I'm basically making stuff as I need it. I have some old ones that are pretty well beat, and they're really made for smaller, more intricate work, and I'm not doing a bunch of small intricate work. So I do want to plan this thing though so that I have room in the future for more stuff. So right now, this guy's going to be pretty lonely in there, but that's all right, because we'll make more as we go. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with me here lately, but I keep forgetting to hit the damn record button constantly. It's happening more and more. Well, I said this is not a fancy tool by any, or a fancy tool. This is not a fancy tool holder. This is one of those make something halfway decent to organize yourself in 15-20 minutes. It's not a new idea, it's not an original idea. But it works. And at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. I'm tired of seeing my stuff rattling around on the benches. That's how stuff gets dinged up, that's how it gets busted. That's how you end up with a mess. And I'm a bit of an expert on messes. That's just what I do. Now I could get crazy with it and put a couple pieces there, but I really don't think I need them. Those screws are pretty strong. Let's go hang it up, see what happens. Okay, one thing I didn't plan very well for is the location of this bench is not really conducive to camera work. Sticking it in the corner, but I kind of needed a space, kind of needed it out of the way. Real scientific here. Really need to find my 2-foot level. That would be even better. Screw the piss out of it. Oh, I almost hate to put this work of art next to my old welfare wagon tools. But I gotta have a home somewhere, I suppose. These poor old lathe tools, they have seen their day, I tell you that. Not so much the steel and whatnot, but the handles need to be redone. Oh, that one's a different size collet. I missed that. That was smart. That one chisel looks so nice next to those. But we will soon be replacing everything up there with nice handmade ones like the one. Alright, so the guy who notices this the most, this part right here, is Mr. Elrod Peterson. Now Elrod is a longtime viewer of the channel, and he is also one of those viewers who keeps me very honest and keeps me on my toes, and that's not a complaint by any means. When you're like I am and you're used to jury rigging things, you know, it's funny the stuff I choose to jury rig. Of course, this lever came off. I've got to epoxy that back in. These right here are just cast aluminum on these locking levers. Now this is not an expensive lathe. It was made in 1988, but this was the kind of lathe that you'd get at a home show or something like that. They made a ton of them and they sold them dirt cheap. They said this is a Duracraft. But so this guy right here, that's stripped out for one, so it doesn't really tighten down very well. But the other problem this has is this thing is nowhere near as long enough to engage where it needs to engage. I mean, that's just that's garbage right there. So I'm gonna have to get a longer set screw on this and put it in. Maybe I'll just make a weld a T on it. But I can tighten this thing down as far as I want. That's in all the way. Does nothing. Doesn't lock it, doesn't stop it, does nothing. I've used it like that for a long time, and I shouldn't, but I usually have this to where it's not, even if this tips forward on me a little bit, it's not going to hit the piece. I make sure it's backed off enough to where that's not an issue, but it would be good to be able to use it properly. Eventually I'll upgrade this lathe, but right now we need to concentrate more on making money so I can do that. Well, there you have it, folks. Nothing real fancy here. We just have a half-assed 20-minute lathe tool holder. All it is drilling some holes, scabbing a piece of wood on, putting it on the wall. Now keep in mind, if you have steel collets on your tools and you drill through wood and you leave them in there like that, those collets will rust. So make sure you're oiling those collets once in a while to keep those things from rusting. And it helps too, use wood that's really dry. That poplar there, I milled that poplar up 4 years ago. So that's had 4 years to air dry, and that's where she is now. There's nothing fancy about this workstation. We have some more to do. I need to build a rack underneath for blanks. That's what I plan to do, this hunk of black walnut. I have a whole log out there to split up. You guys only saw a half round in a couple of videos ago when we made the handle for that scraper and gouge. But so I'll be putting pieces like this, filling the underside of this for tool handles. I don't need big pieces of stock for this. I need, I'm looking pretty much for anything 2 to 3 inches, maybe 2.5 inches to be safe. And that's all I need. So underneath here will be perfect for that. I don't need anything overly long because it's draw knife handles, lathe tool handles, things like that. Now any of the chisels that I end up making, the socketed chisels, slicks, things like that, they're going to get ash or hickory handles simply because that's a much stronger material than the walnut. Now going along with fanciness, this is not an Instagram quality photo op type of a setup. Us social media guys have a bad habit of putting out or trying to put out this epic stuff all the time, and I think sometimes, at least I know it always did for me, is it can be intimidating when that's all you see. It makes you feel like your own work is garbage. And I felt that way a long time before, I just said to hell with it. I'm going to make what I make, and people are either going to like it or they're not. People are either going to watch the videos or they're not. And that took a while to get to that conclusion, and it does for a lot of us. I can do better work than this. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this. It's functional. And what's more important in your own shop? Do you want that tool cabinet in you don't want to get a speck of dust on because you made it so pretty that you just hate to destroy it? Now granted, nice things like that, we will have a spot in here eventually where I have stuff like that set up, but I'm looking for production. I'm looking for functional. I want something that I can beat the shit out of, not care that I beat the shit out of it, because I'm here to make things. I'm not here to sit in my chair, rock away, and just stare at everything on the wall. That's just not me, and that's not what we're into here right now. We have too much other stuff we need to worry about. So this will be a functional spot. And folks, if this is the higher end of your abilities, friggin' go with it and be happy with it. Don't worry about what all the social media bullshit. If your shop's messy like this one, that's how 90% of the people out there, that's how their shop looks. It looks like a damn bomb went off. Sawdust everywhere, tools everywhere, lumber scraps everywhere. It's a working shop. That is how it goes. Don't worry so much. Don't get hung up so much on that got to have everything perfect for the internet, or I saw this on Instagram, and if I don't make it that good, or if it's not that pretty, it's useless, and I'm useless, and my work sucks. That's not the way it is. Be proud of what you make. You know, it's funny. You get into the social media trolls and things like that, and the people say, "Well, I would have done this. Well, I would have licked my cat's ass before I did that." You know what I mean? You run into that, you see that. Ignore them peckerheads. I tell you what, I don't think I've ever left a troll comment anywhere based on somebody's work, and I don't get a lot of them here, and I'm not complaining about my viewers or anything like that. I see it. I see it on Facebook posts, especially welding groups, things like that. I see it on Instagram. You see it all over the place. You see it on other people's YouTube videos to where they people get discouraged because you have some nutsack who's probably, sitting in his recliner somewhere, pulling his pork, complaining about, oh, geez, that could have been done a lot better. And they probably couldn't do the work themselves. But like I said, if this is your ability, be happy with it, be proud. At least you're doing something, at least you're making something. Be happy with it. Everything improves over time. How much time you put into it, how much practice you get. Sometimes the tools you have, it all comes together eventually to where you start making nice stuff. Now I can do work 100 times better than what this is, but like I said, this fills a need that I have at the moment, and this will work fine. Probably 20 years from now, this bench will probably still be here with the lathe sitting on it, and it'll probably be the same rusty old wobbly thing, but it works. That's all that matters. So I guess the whole point of that, be happy with what you make. Enjoy things, enjoy your projects, enjoy your time in the shop. In this world, just doing something with your hands, it's so important because so many people are losing that so quickly. We've all become social media viewers and consumers, and you guys know what I'm saying. It's just the way it is. So anyway, have a good night, everybody. Enough of my ranting. I will catch you on the next one.